Good people, and welcome to the Silly, Nerdy, Sometimes Wordy podcast. And I'm your host, BK. This is episode 19, updates on both the WGA and SAG-AFTRA strikes. And in this week's episode, I'll be providing an update on both of those strikes, the WGA and the SAG-AFTRA strikes, as well as a Warner Brothers film that has been pushed into 2024 as a result of it, and how the 2023-2024 TV schedule is going to be looking this fall. Okay. How is everybody doing out there? I hope you're all doing well. We're going to get right into it. Have a lot to cover today. So, now let's get into the nerdy notes. And this week's nerdy notes is going to be focused obviously on film and TV. Starting off with the film that I mentioned that's been pushed into 2024 as a result of the strikes. That is going to be Dune Part 2. Yes, Dune Part 2. Sadly, that is going to be now, per reports, on March 15th, 2024. Initially, that was supposed to be coming out in November of this year, early November. I was very excited about it. That's one of my most anticipated film, especially since I didn't get to see the first one in theaters during COVID. But Warner Brothers has decided to push that in to next year, which is smart because you want everybody to be out promoting it and doing the press junkets and things you normally would do under non-strike times. So, sadly, we'll have to wait a little longer for Dune Part 2. Also, moving on, Marvel Studios Loki Season 2, they released their trailer and looks good, and it's set to come out, and they also released a release date, which is coming out on October 6, 2023. So that's next month. So obviously they will proceed on with this show amid the strikes. So Loki Season 2 coming out October 6, 2023 on Disney Plus. Continue on with Marvel Studios. A few weeks ago, they released another trailer for The Marvels, which is a sequel to Captain Marvel. That is set to come out in November 2023, and at least for right now, they don't have plans to push that into 2024 due to the strike. So, of course, between now and November, things could change. But as far as we know, they're marketing that film. So we'll see if they decide to move that into 2024. Okay, those are just a few things in our nerdy notes this week. Let's get into our main topic. The main topic is going to be the updates on these strikes. Now, let's start with the WGA strike, which is the Writers Guild of America. There was some movement on there with this strike. So they were able to get back to the negotiating table, with the WGA and the AMPTP, the group that represents all of the studios, the Warner Brothers, the Netflix, the Amazons, the Paramounts, etc., etc. So, yeah, they started talking again. They had some meetings. And what happened was, per reports, that the AMPT gave an offer to the WGA. And ultimately, that offer was rejected. It covers some things that they're fighting for, but not everything. And per reports, basically, they gave them the offer as opposed to negotiating, and just kind of said, I'm paraphrasing, but this is our offer. This is so great, and this is, it's unprecedented, and take the deal. As opposed to just continuing to talk and negotiate, they just gave them an offer. So obviously it's been rejected, and we're kind of back where we started. So no agreement has been reached with the writers. And in terms of the SAG-AFTRA, which that group represents the actors and other groups, that nothing's really happened there. No talks have resumed. So maybe they're just focusing on one group at a time, but nothing's happening with the actors. So the strikes roll on. So no deals have been done. No agreements been made, unfortunately. And it sounds like with all of the people that are in this industry, they say that this won't get resolved until possibly they're predicting that this won't get resolved until early 2024. So through the rest of the year, which is unfortunate. Very, very, very unfortunate. And as a result of this strike that's looks like it's going to go on to the end of the year, there is an article that came out on September 5th per Variety, and pretty much the article says that Warner Brothers Discovery is one of the studios. They're projected to have a $300 to $500 million hit or loss in earnings for 2023. And this is due to both of their strikes happening simultaneously. So now the studios are starting to feel the hit because of their strikes. They're starting to hurt in their pockets a little bit. $300 million to $500 million is no chump change. So hopefully this will start to motivate them to negotiate and come with a fair deal for all parties and compromise so that they can get a deal done for the WGA and SAG-AFTRA. So that's a lot of money that they will be losing this year. So for Warner Brothers, and I'm sure other studios are losing just as much, or maybe a little more than that. Okay. There is also another strike that looks like it may be happening. This is in regards to SAG-AFTRA. They are petitioning, or they're getting ready to get authorization to do a second strike. This would be with another industry. This would be with the video game industry. It's a big industry that a lot of money comes out of there, that world. And this is due to talks that they've reached a stalemate, per Variety magazine as well, a stalemate with the groups that represents the video game studios. Like I said, this is separate from what the AMPT. This is separate from what they're striking with, the Netflixes and Amazons and Universals and Disneys. This is against the video game studios like EA, Electronic Arts, Activision, Insomniac Games, Epic Games, and WB Games. So some of the issues that they're negotiating with is fair pay, 11% retroactive increases in the rate of video games performers, and the threat of AI, of course, artificial intelligence. Now, the talks are expected to resume on September 26, 2023. So, in terms of the video game world, there are actors that lend their voices to many video games. And you may see and hear these actors in video games, as well as them doing their normal job acting on screen. They lend their voices to video games, and in some instances they also give their face, they give their image in games, and you may have seen them in different video games. In addition to lending their voice over for characters in a game, especially if it's a story-driven game, so they need to get paid fairly for that as well. And artificial intelligence is also threatening as well. So there may be a second strike coming up in addition to the other strike. So hopefully one of these can get resolved, and not all three are happening at the same time, but we'll see what happens with that. So that would be unfortunate. Now let's move on to the TV schedule, the fall TV. How is this affecting fall TV? Well, obviously, you're not going to see, as I mentioned a couple episodes ago, you're not going to see new seasons and returning seasons of current shows that have been renewed. No new seasons of your FBI's, Dick Wolf, FBI Most Wanted, FBI International, or your Chicago Fire, Med and PD, Abbott Elementary, The Good Doctor, NCIS. You're not going to see brand new seasons and new episodes of those shows. You will see reruns of those shows, meaning previous seasons that have already aired. So that is what you will see. However, there are a few returning shows that have already been filmed and already edited and will be aired this season. And a good portion of those are in their final season and final episodes. So I'll just kind of run through them. And then some of them are returning shows that they started filming right after their first season, so they didn't have issues with that. And then there are some brand new shows as well that got to film and edit and got it all done before the strike. Let's start off with Magnum PI Season 5 Part B. That is in its final season, unfortunately. One of my favorite shows. Initially, that was on CBS, and it got canceled. There was a campaign, and eventually NBC picked it up. They filmed Season 5, but they did it in 2 parts, 20 episodes total. They already got episodes, the first 10 episodes. Now they're doing the next 10 episodes, which will be its final season unless it gets picked up. So that will be airing on October 4th, 9 p.m. on NBC. And now Season 2 of Wheel of Time. That's a show that premiered year before last. Season 2 premiered Friday, September 1st on Amazon Prime Video. Now with that show, after Season 1, I think they most likely filmed Season 1 and Season 2 simultaneously, almost like they did with Lord of the Rings, because they even had a short kind of small teaser trailer at the end of Season 1. So it's most likely that they probably had half, if not most, of Season 2 already filmed. So they had no issues, and they filmed overseas as well. So they finished before the strikes even started for Season 2, Wheel of Time. So that's currently going on. They just aired the first 3 episodes on Amazon Prime, and they're releasing episodes weekly on Fridays. Now, another show. This one is a brand new show. It's a spin-off off of the John Wick films. And this one is called The Continental. And this will be airing on premiering Friday, September 22nd on Peacock. And Peacock is the streaming service of NBC. And this show takes place in the 1970s. And again, this is a spinoff of the John Wick films. So this is kind of a prequel to that. So that's already been filmed and edited and ready to go. It'll be coming on the streaming service of Peacock. And now there's a couple of new shows, brand new shows on NBC that also have been filmed and ready to go, edited and everything. NBC has already shown some trailers. They put it on their schedule. So the first one is called The Irrational, and that premieres Monday, September 25th, 10 p.m., 9 p.m. Central on NBC. This stars Jesse L. Martin. And if you know who Jesse L. Martin is, he was in the original Law and Order for multiple seasons. He's recently just came off finishing The Flash, playing Barry's dad. And the description that NBC gave for this show, it says, a professor with a unique understanding of human behavior solves high-stakes cases. So that show, like I said, premieres on September 25th, 10 p.m. on NBC, and most likely it will be streaming on Peacock, their streaming service, the next day. Another brand new show from NBC, it's called Found, and that premieres on NBC Tuesday, October 3rd, 10 p.m., 9 p.m. Central. And the description they gave for that is secrets are revealed when a team of experts look for missing people. And one of the actors on that show is Mark Paul Gosselaar. If you know who Mark Paul Gosselaar is, a.k.a. Zach Morris from Saved by the Bell all those years ago. And of course, he's done many other things since Saved by the Bell. But of course, we all know him from that sitcom, great sitcom back in the day. Okay, one more show, not brand new show. This is another show that's going into its final season 3B of All Rise. Now, if you remember, All Rise was initially on CBS. CBS canceled it, and OWN picked it up, and OWN is Oprah Winfrey's network. So the final season of that will be premiering Saturday, September 16th, 9 p.m. on OWN. So that will be in its final season unless there's a campaign and somebody else wants to pick it up, or maybe OWN picks it up. But as of now, they're going into their final season, season 3B, the final 10 episodes, which I do like that show. And the other new shows, I'll definitely be checking out Found, definitely be checking out The Irrational, as well as the spinoff for John Wick, The Continental. So yeah, I'll be watching pretty much all of these shows. Yeah. So that's all that's going on with the strikes. Unfortunately, no agreements have been made. And then there's this possible new strike with the video game world. So that could impact video games in terms of them being released on time, delaying games that are in development or maybe soon ready to be released. So that will be unfortunate for a lot of gamers. I'm a gamer myself. So that's unfortunate. Hopefully they can come to an agreement and pay the actors fairly, as well as the thing with artificial intelligence. Yeah. That's I think that's all I'm having for today. My takeaway from this is I hope a deal gets done soon. As I mentioned earlier, the first two strikes could go well into the end of the year and won't get resolved until 2024, which is unfortunate. So that will, obviously delay movies and TV shows and whatnot. So and as well as the other industries that are affected by this as a result of this. So hopefully something gets done soon. They come to their senses. So obviously the studios are starting to feel it with losing money. So I'm sure more movies will be delayed as a result of this. Yeah, that's all for today, this week. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. There's a lot of information in there, but I'm happy to talk about it. This is fun stuff to talk about. It's not fun that the strikes are happening, but it is what it is for right now. So please come back again. We're on Spotify and Pandora and Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio. So please leave a comment, follow us so that you can get the episodes once I upload them. Share with your friends and family. Tell somebody about it. Hope you learned something. All right. So we are at the end of this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, please come back and see me. And until next time, we will talk soon.